Hi guys, so today I'll be showing you how we can upgrade the storage for this Lenovo IdeaPad 5. This 14-inch laptop comes with 512 GB of storage and it is in the form of a 2242 M.2 NVMe storage. But after spending some time and looking around on Amazon and other places to buy this 2242 NVMe storage, I found that it is a bit hard to find. But luckily, I found out that this Lenovo IdeaPad 5 has a secondary storage slot for M.2 and it can accommodate up to 2280 NVMe M.2 storage. That's why I opted to buy the Kingston M.2 NVMe storage, which is a PCIe 4 NVMe storage, and it has a 1TB capacity with a maximum of 3500 megabits per second transfer rate. This is a 2280 NVMe storage and it will just fit nicely into the secondary slot of this Lenovo IdeaPad 5. The specific NVMe storage from Kingston comes at around $61 to $62 in Amazon right now, and if you're interested, I will leave the link of this NVMe storage in the description below. So let's go ahead and install this 1TB NVMe into the secondary slot of this Lenovo IdeaPad 5. First of all, the tools that we need in order for us to upgrade the storage for this laptop is of course the laptop in itself, our storage, and of course our tools. It is a good investment in any PC builder to have their own precision tools for any kind of cases where we need some special kind of bits in order to open different kinds of devices. For example, this Lenovo IdeaPad do not use the conventional Phillips screws that we usually see in other types of devices, but it uses what we call a T4 screw. So we have ourselves here a T4 bit that we can use in order for us to open this laptop. This precision screwdriver from STREBITO, it comes with 144 different kinds of tips to choose from and some other tools that you might need in order for you to open safely all your devices. It also has this magnetic pad that we can use to hold all those screws in place and keep it safe. We also have different kind of prying tools which we will need to use later on in opening this Lenovo IdeaPad. Oh! And this precision screwdriver doesn't only have your traditional screwdriver, but it also has an electric screwdriver in case you want to use it. This precision screwdriver from STREBITO can be bought in Amazon for about $50. And if you're interested, I will also leave the link for this product in the description below. So now that we have all the tools and the components that we need in order for us to upgrade the storage for this Lenovo IdeaPad 5, let's go ahead and open up this laptop. Make sure that the laptop is turned off before you remove the screws from the back of this case. There is a total of 8 screws that we need to remove from the back of this case. So let's go ahead and do that. Another good thing about this precision screwdriver is that it is magnetic, so it is easier to remove and to install all your screws when you are attaching it or removing it from your device. I'm not sure why that screw is not cooperating, but let's go back to that later. By the way, there is no exact need to do unscrewing of the screws like what I'm doing right now. You can do it in any pattern that you like. Just make sure that everything is stable because you might damage the screws. It can cause it to lose thread. I think these 2 screws is a bit different from the rest. Let me try another bit. So now that we have removed all of the screws, now we need to pry open the back to loosen up the back case for this Lenovo IdeaPad. once you have loosened all the sides, we'll now be able to remove the back of this Lenovo IdeaPad, and we can put it aside for now. These are the insides of our Lenovo IdeaPad 5. Let's just try to see if we can zoom in so that I can show you guys each of the components that we need to touch in this laptop. The first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we have removed the connector for our battery, so that we will not damage any of the parts that we touch in this laptop. So let's do that now. Removing the connector from the battery is quite easy, but if it's the first time that you are doing it, you might need to pull a little bit harder. But once you have removed this connector, you are now free to touch every other component of your laptop. So if I can just zoom in here, I just want to show you guys where the main storage of this laptop is located. It is actually located in this upper right portion, which is covered by this black film that helps dissipate the heat from this NVMe storage. So if you remove this, you will see our main storage here, which is a 2242 M.2 NVMe. And this particular storage comes from Samsung. But like I said, it's a bit hard to find a 2242 size for the M.2 NVMe. And luckily, that this Lenovo IdeaPad has a secondary M.2 slot for a 2280 size of NVMe, which is located in this portion. So let's go ahead and open up our 1TB M.2 NVMe storage and attach it to our laptop. So here we have, guys, our Kingston 1TB NVMe storage. So let me just see if I can put this in close-up for you guys to see. There you go. This is our 1TB Kingston 2280 NVMe M.2 storage. So now let's see if we can install this properly in our laptop. So first, what we need to do is remove this screw from this position here. This screw will provide support to our NVMe once we have installed it into the M.2 slot over here. So let's just go ahead and remove this slot. And as you can see, the inside of the Lenovo IdeaPad uses the regular Phillips screw. So then we need to change our bit to a Phillips screw head. So I changed the tip of my screw to a Phillips screw head. Hopefully this fits, and we can remove this screw from here. Again, it is very good to have a magnetic screwdriver so that we will not drop all our small screws inside. So once that we have removed that, we can now safely install our new NVMe storage into this secondary NVMe slot. So you just need to align our NVMe slots like this and push it in an inclined manner. Don't push it in perpendicularly. So push it in inclined like this. And as you can see, we need the screw over here because it's the one that will keep this in place and not wiggle around. So that's how important that little screw, this little screw right here. So don't you ever lose this screw. And because my screwdriver is magnetic, I will not have a hard time in placing this screw right here, especially with my big fingers. Once we have placed the screw and secured our M.2 storage in its place, we are now done. We just need to plug back the connector for our battery. Now this is important, especially for me. What I do practice is that I make sure that everything is working first before I put the back cover in its place and screw it in. Because if anything goes wrong, I will need to unscrew everything again and it will take a lot of time. So this is just for us to make sure that everything is working before we put it back all together. So now what we will do is we will turn over this laptop. But since the back cover is not there, we just need to be careful not to place our back components directly into any surface. So we'll just do it inclined and make sure that it turns on. So remember to keep the bottom side of your laptop away from any surface because the surface might damage the components in the back of your computer. And it's working! Yay! So let me just try to see if we can find our newly installed M.2 storage. Uh-oh! I can only see the main storage here. So where is our new NVMe storage? Since the newly installed M.2 storage is not yet initialized, we'll not be able to see it as a list in our Windows storage devices. So what we need to do is go over to Start, and you just type in disk partition. Once you have opened up this application, you'll be able to see all the installed disks inside your laptop, be it initialized or not initialized. So it says here that we need to initialize the disk first before we can access it, like what I mentioned earlier, right? So as you can see, we have two options here: a master boot record or a GPT or a GUID partition table. So the difference between these two options is that if you want to partition this disk into more than 4 partitions, it is recommended to use the GPT or the GUID partition table. But if you're just going to use it as one whole partition, or maybe up to 2, 3, or at maximum 4 partitions, you can use the MBR or the master boot record. So we will use the master boot record to initialize this disk, and then just press OK. By the way, as you can see here, the note here says the GPT partition style is not recognized by all previous versions of Windows. So do take note of that. So we can press OK. And this disk is now initialized but unallocated. So what we need to do is to do right click on this new disk and just create a simple volume. And the new volume wizard will pop up, and just follow the steps in order to create your new partition or your new volume. And we need to assign a drive for this new storage. Best practice is that you assign a volume letter or a volume drive to a letter after the system volume, which is the standard in Windows is the C drive. So now we will assign this as our D drive. We just press next, and we also do formatting. So it will still be up to you if we want to use NTFS or exFAT, but since this will be a fixed storage inside this laptop, we will just use NTFS, and I can put a new name for this volume. I'll just put it as data, and to perform a quick format, then we just press next. Once this is done, you will see that this is now a healthy partition which has 931.51 GB of free space. So in case some of you are wondering why we only have 931 and something gigabytes of storage while we actually bought a 1 terabyte storage. So why don't we get the whole 1 terabyte of storage as free space? Actually, each storage, once it is initialized and formatted, it actually needs a specific percentage of that storage in order to record all the details of that storage in itself, which is actually called the header data. So now, once we are finished, if we exit here and we look at our list of storage, we now have our C drive and we now have our D drive, which is empty. So now that we made sure that everything is working properly, we can shut this laptop down and put back the back cover for this laptop. So again, what I did was that I made sure that the back of the laptop, while it is open and did not have any cover, not touch any of the surfaces, as it may damage some of the components in our motherboard or in our laptop. Now we just need to place back the back cover like how we have removed it before. And can you just imagine, with my big fingers and these very small screws, if I don't have a magnetic screwdriver, I will be having a hard time to place all these screws back in its rightful place. Also to remember to use the correct screws in the correct places. Like for example, in this laptop, all the screws from the side to the bottom are all of the small screws, but the 3 screws on top are actually longer screws than the rest. So do take note of that. Alright guys, that's one way to upgrade and increase the storage size of our Lenovo IdeaPad 5. And as I mentioned earlier, you can actually also increase your main storage, but you may need to find and buy the 2242 NVMe M.2 storage so that you can upgrade the main storage for this Lenovo IdeaPad 5. If you have followed this video from start to finish, I want to say congratulations because you have now upgraded the storage for your Lenovo IdeaPad 5 laptop. Thank you guys for watching, and if you find value in this video, why don't you consider subscribing to our channel and watch some more of our videos up here and up here. Thanks for joining us today, and see you in the next one.